everyone, what's up? This is Kael,
And I'm Gail.
and welcome to the first episode of Kael and Gayle Try to Podcast.
Where we talk about life after 25, our successes, failures, and our rants. And we are very excited to talk about and to welcome you to our first episode where we will just introduce everything that we want to talk about and introduce ourselves as well.
Well, basically, this is not I would say this is not the official first episode because this is just like, as what Gail said, an introduction of the hosts. We wanted our guests, or I mean our audience, to know more about ourselves so that they will, we wanted to make sure that you can relate to us, guys. Anyway, Gail, can you share to our audience why we have decided to name this podcast Kael and Gail Try to Podcast?
Because basically that's what we're trying to do. We've actually planned this for about a year now, and we just want to talk. I mean, we noticed that our conversations were pretty interesting. Shout out, and we wanted you to hear it. So here we are trying to make a podcast. I hope you guys enjoy it.
And honestly, we've been actually talking for the past 48 hours on what should be the title for this podcast, but why not, why would we complicate ourselves? Why would we complicate things? Let's just be literal with our title. Anyway, guys, we'd like to introduce ourselves, and I would like Gail to tell us about herself first.
Kael and I actually go way back. We were schoolmates, and then we were co-workers from in Davao. So we studied radiologic technology. I was my first job was actually in the school, and I was a clinical instructor, and that's where we got close as clinical instructors. Our students know that well. So um, uh, I actually have a lot of interest aside from radiologic
Mm-hmm.
technology. I like writing. I like blogging as well. So I started a blog in 2016 after boards, and then I in 2020 I decided to pursue my freelance career, which will mostly involves mostly revolves around blogging, copywriting, and digital marketing. So that's where my field is right now.
But
So
tell us about
yeah.
your elementary days and high school days. I've heard that you've been into writing since way back elementary days, right?
Actually, yes. I started writing. I think it was third grade. I went to Stella Maris Academy,
Mm-hmm.
um, here in Davao. So that's where I started writing, and then I think it was grade 5 or grade 6 when our teacher actually asked me to join a couple of contests,
Ever
drama.
since you've been really into blogging and stuff, is this your first time vlogging, or on being recorded with something like this, like making a podcast or being interviewed through live television?
Not really. I actually tried vlogging in 2016 also. I was streaming um using a different app, but
Mm-hmm.
then in 2020 when I joined Dava Digital Influencers, we also had DDI talks, and I also joined a couple of vlogs for my fellow media people also. So yeah, you may see me in a lot of different vlogs as well, but not so much.
like
I'm still the awkward nugget.
like a lot of famous people in Davao City also, because you work with them, like especially with the vloggers and influencers as well. So maybe we can
uh,
ask out for a bit of their help for this for this podcast.
Pwede,
Diba,
definitely.
why not?
We I
Connections.
actually know a couple of people who do
Who
podcasts,
can help
so
us out?
that's something we can
Maybe
do.
they can
Mhm.
sponsor or whatever. Just
That
kidding.
I don't know.
Just kidding. You've studied you've studied radiologic technology on, I mean, at Davao Doctors College, and after that you actually took up units for your master's degree, right?
I did take up my a
Mm-hmm.
couple of units for my master's degree. It was a struggle. I took a lot of courses,
Because we were
but
we were working that time, and then we were studying as
yeah.
at the same time, so it was really difficult.
Yeah, but I actually never really I realized that I didn't really want to be in the academe. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another story for another podcast. But
For another episode.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's basically something that I took up. It was interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but freelancing and writing is my career as of right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about you
Oh.
because you were asking all the questions. I know you've always been such an entertainer
Hmm.
in college. You
Well,
were always the
I hope
star.
that will, reflect on this podcast. I hope I would be able to entertain a lot of people.
No doubt, especially because you really catch the spotlight. I know if Double Dog people are listening, they know that you are the star girl. You're the star.
The star boy. Anyway, okay, let me introduce about myself. So I am Kael, and as what Gail mentioned, we studied at Davao Doctors College for radiologic technology degree, and then after that, the first job that I got was to work in the school as an instructor. I've worked as an instructor for almost 4 years in Davao Doctors College. We handled subjects like radiation physics, radiation therapy, what else, positioning, but we're not gonna talk about those things here. I studied also a degree in business administration, and I also took the licensure exam for teachers, which I passed this year. So I have, like, I would say, three
Congrats.
degrees. Yeah, more on that later. So I enjoy a lot of things since I enjoy a lot of things like outdoor activities. I enjoy hiking, mountain climbing,
Mhm.
trail running.
And I also know that you have done a lot of hosting before. I actually remember from college that you were a host, and wait, I think
Yeah.
you were also a dancer, right? Singer,
Actually,
Bretman Rock, singer, songwriter.
actually, ever since when I was in elementary, in high school and college, I've been invited to host or yeah, to host a lot of events in school. And also I am a cheerleader when I was in college. I even won the title of the best cheer captain when I was
Best,
in my
yeah.
last year in college. So I'm kind of an entertainer in that way, but I don't know now. It's been years. Everything has dried
It's
up.
everything is right. It's time to shine now. So let's find the entertainer in ourselves.
Exactly. And that is actually the reason why I wanted Gail to co-host with me in this show, because I know that she has a lot of background in terms of um stuff like this, right? When you were writing in different events, especially big events in Davao City.
I guess so. I mean I guess I think I like hearing myself talk. Shut up, that's so conceited. No. Uh I have had experiences with events, but I'm not really familiar with
Mm-hmm.
actually hosting an actual event because I am somewhat of an introvert. Shut up. But yeah. I will definitely we are the best pair because you are the entertainer and I am
It's we're like balancing each other out. But I don't.
yes.
But on my part as well, I'm not really sure because it's been years since I've talked to like an audience. But just recently, also, I got actually invited to talk to my elementary school as their guest speaker. So that was like my
I saw
first
that, yeah.
in 2 years to talk in public again, or I mean in a massive crowd. So, and this is
How
the
was
second
it?
one. It was I was pretty, how do I explain myself? I don't know. I was anxious on the reading the first paragraph of my speech, but
Mhm.
afterwards I think it went well.
Yes, it all fell into place.
Anyway, just recently we uploaded a video on our Facebook account, and that was the soft launching, like telling people that we were gonna have a podcast or we're gonna have
Mhm.
a show, right? And how and did you see the comments there?
Oh my god, yes. I actually feel the pressure. So that's actually why we're trying so hard to sound credible. No. And
and and a lot of my friends and relatives actually shared the video. It
oh
actually reached
my gosh, I didn't see the shares.
it reached more than 1,000 views, and I was like,
Oh my
gosh, I
god.
did not expect this number. I did not expect this number. I was only expecting like 100 or 200. So
Okay, so people, you have to maintain that number. Charot, like sila
please,
ang i-pressure.
we are begging you. And also there were a lot of comments as well, and people were like very supportive, and we would like to, thank you guys
Yes.
for showing your support. Your single like, your single reacts means a lot to us.
Everybody was really positive in their feedback, and they really started commenting on what they wanted to talk about and what they wanted to hear. Some people wanted to subscribe immediately. So
We haven't even made our
thank you,
official page yet by that time.
actually. Hmm.
Well, anyway,
So
yeah, well, anyways, soon we will be announcing, or we will be inviting you guys to like our official page on the
mhm.
different platforms.
And we actually prepared a couple of questions today
Hmm.
that we can give you a little preview of what we're going to talk about in this podcast. So, what do you think? Should we start with the questions?
Yeah, let's get it on, Gail.
Okay, so our first question is actually, how would you define a successful life? Now, ikaw na lang first.
Oh my god, I'm not prepared for this question. How would I define a successful life? For me, um, fame, money does not define success, but it makes it makes everything worthwhile.
Of course, practical tayo dito.
Yeah, of course, but it's all about contentment. As long as you're contented on what you have, I would say you are successful. But if you are a hustler, you will never be contented, and you will always ask for more. But that's not a bad thing, right? If you wanted to get more, as long as you're gonna work hard for it, and you know
As long as you do it in the right kind of way.
exactly. how
Hmm.
about how about you? How would you define a successful life?
Pretty much the same thing. I mean, I would define a successful life by contentment, and if you're truly happy with what you have, and by, of course, I think I would be successful if I actually made positive if I actually helped make positive change around me.
Mm-hmm.
So positive change and contentment,
you know
definitely. And
uh,
of course, we do have to be practical. So yes.
money.
My yes,
Well, of
money.
course, having a great impact, not just to your family, immediate family, but to the society, that would be like the great one of the greatest success in
Of
life.
course.
Moving on,
Yes,
let's
definitely.
go ahead to our next question. I will be asking the next question. How
Mhm.
would you have there been any challenges in your goals? Have there been any
Uh,
challenges in your goals, Gail?
I mean, being 27, I mean, I'm sure that we've actually been through a lot. So, there have been a lot of challenges in terms of um, my goals. Specifically, I actually there were times when I
Mm-hmm.
actually felt depressed. I actually was diagnosed with depression, but then I eventually picked myself back up and I worked around it. I worked through it. And there are days when you do feel down, but you just have to focus on what comes after because there's always
Mm-hmm.
going to be an after.
Were there people who were, during that time when you were so depressed and you were down, were there people who helped you?
Of course, my family and my friends,
Mm-hmm.
you guys, definitely helped me because when you actually um go through things, when you're in that place,
Mm-hmm.
when you're in that dark place, it kind of feels like you're alone. But when you actually let people in and let them let and see the good in people, it kind of
Mm-hmm.
changes. But that's just That's just for my from my point of view.
Because
So
there
it
are
does
there are
differ.
different people. I mean, there are people who are, when they were depressed, even though they have the support from their family, from their friends, but at the end of the day, it's still your choice. It's still your decision. If how are you gonna how are you gonna act on it, right?
Yes, definitely. I actually realized that happiness is a choice. So our lives are all made up of our decisions. So it's
Mm-hmm.
always our decision to move forward, to stop and sink. So it's all about decisions.
Mm-hmm. And have you made the right decision so far?
Oh my gosh. So much pressure. I think so. I mean, I'm very happy with where I am right now
Mm-hmm.
in terms of career and in life in general. So I hope I'm going towards the right path. Now let's talk about you. Have there been any challenges in your life because you, Mr. Triple degree holder? It sounds so
Don't you dare
challenging.
emphasize that. I actually still haven't grasped on that reality. Like, it's not a big deal for me because that does not define success for me. And
Mhm.
whenever I think I'm the kind of person like I'm the kind of person who just goes with the flow, like whatever happens, so be it, and it is what it is kind of person. Although I would say that's not a good thing because having a direction, having a goal in life is like is such a helpful thing, because if you don't know what you're doing, you'll get lost. But the good thing for in my experience, there were people who helped me, and I was like, I was open for their like what you said a while ago, like you have to let people in your life so that you would
Yes.
be guided on the right path. But in terms of challenges, definitely, a lot of people will look down on you, but who cares about their opinion? At the end of the day, you're doing this for yourself, you're doing this for your family, so fuck them all.
Definitely, definitely something that we all have had to learn. Now, going back to the question, are you actually happy with your career today? Or have there been
Mm,
any instances in the past when you've tried? I mean, we all know this. We've tried and shifted careers. Can you tell us why? Or is that
well,
another
well, to
episode?
I wasn't really expecting to work in the academe before, but I was super, grateful for the opportunity because I've learned a lot of things
Hmm.
working with, students, people with different personalities. Like there are 40 students in our class, but we are dealing with different personalities. They're not all the
Exactly.
same, and we're also dealing with our co-workers with different attitudes. So it's like, I think I would say it helped me grow, like, faster as a professional, as a person, because dealing with this kind of stuff is it's not an easy job. Right now I'm practicing radiologic technology the radiologic technology profession, and so far I'm so far I am happy with my job because I have good relationship with my coworkers, and it's like, it's very chill in our workplace. But there's something that's, telling me that I should do something, and I think this side hustle is one of those things.
Definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, you get to when you work a regular job, there's always something that you kind of want to do aside from it. So, I mean, this is a great way to express ourselves and
Absolutely.
to let
Absolutely.
our skills, yeah.
Although there's no guarantee that we will be, earning from this, but
Oh
40
yeah.
20 years from now, we will be, looking at this video, we would be listening to this podcast, and it would be such a great feeling.
Actually, yes. I mean, I'm it's not definitely the motivation of this podcast is
Mhm.
definitely not to monetize it, but rather just talk about things and to let it serve as an outlet
Mhm.
for our everyday struggles
It
that
helps
us.
us with our mental health. How
Yeah,
about you?
actually.
How about you? Was there, you know, a time where you shifted careers, and why did you do that? What were the
Uh
reasons?
I mean, as of right now, because I am a freelancer, I get to work with a lot of
Mhm.
different clients. So, uh, starting from the academe, just like you, uh, there were. I mean, we all know why we left, but
Why we
it was.
left? What do you mean by that?
It's it's another topic for another episode. Just kidding. No, it's there have been a lot of changes, as you mentioned earlier. There
Mhm.
are a lot of different people that you get to work with, and with that comes a lot of different ideals and values as well. So I just thought that my values weren't aligned at the time. So I tried to shift and focus on what I actually am passionate about, which is writing and digital media and marketing. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I mean, in terms of working with a lot of different
Mhm.
clients, I actually just resigned from a telemedicine clinic based in California, where I had to talk to a lot of different patients and a lot of different people as well who were struggling and who were in pain.
Mhm.
So it helped me, as you mentioned earlier. It did help me grow a lot. It helped me realize a lot of things, and it's been great. I mean, it's been a struggle, but seeing my growth and realizing the things that I realized really makes me uh makes me proud of the journey that we all went.
Sometimes I really believe that sometimes things happen for a reason. Like it's so cliche, but you know,
But
if
it's
you
true.
just if you're just positive, like based on your experience, look at you now. You're at a happy place, diba? So
Yeah.
meaning to say that sometimes we struggle, but if we push through, if we fight with with those struggles, we would be in a happy place at the end of the day.
Yeah, I also definitely think that based on what you said, that everything happens for a reason. Everything does happen for a reason. You may not know it at that time, but maybe that struggle or that challenge was actually preparing you for something else, which have been
Totally agree.
like
I
true.
totally agree.
Mhm.
That sounds really serious. For the first three questions sounds really serious. So let's take a little shift. I really wanted to ask you this question because I know you really like to travel. You've traveled a lot of countries already, right? Like you've been to Japan, Malaysia, and other Southeast Asian countries. But aside from those countries that you've been to, what are the top three countries that you really wanted to visit?
um, That I really want to visit?
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to visit. I actually went to Japan before, but I really want to explore Japan more. So I think that's like on the top three.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also want to, it's not really top three, but I really want to do a European tour. But if you're specific, I really want to go to Switzerland. I also want to I
Sweet.
also want to explore Italy and see the architecture, and of course, the only or the main reason why I want to travel, I really want to try their food as well. So these are mostly my top three countries, and I hopefully they I get to visit them at least in this lifetime.
Maybe 5 years from now you'd be able to visit two of those countries, or
Too
maybe
long.
all. Let's hope for the
Yeah.
best.
Okay, so we talked about my top three countries. Now let's talk about yours and why you want to visit it.
Well, you know me. I've been to a couple of places here in the Philippines, and
Hmm.
my goal is to first travel all the spots here in the Philippines before I travel abroad. Actually, in 2019,
Yes.
I was actually planning to go to Thailand and other Southeast Asian countries, but COVID happened, so everything
Yeah.
was canceled. All the plans changed, and that was also the time I on 2020 I went back to my hometown because of the pandemic situation. But if you would
Yeah.
ask me for the top three countries, um, I would say anywhere in Europe, in Russia. I'd really want to go visit explore Russia. And number two, I wanted to go to number two. This is not a country, but I really wanted to explore the North Pole. I wanted to prove to myself that the Earth is not flat because, from the perspective of flat earthers, the because based on flat earthers, the Earth is surrounded with ice. Like, I don't know if you've
Mhm.
read about flat Earth, the flat Earth
I
theories,
haven't.
but one way of proving that the Earth is is really round is you have to go through North Pole or South Pole, go across it. And number three, let's go back to Europe. I really wanted to go to Amsterdam. I
Why?
want. Well, you've heard that prostitution is legal there. I want to make some money for myself. I'm just kidding. Okay, so that's it for the top three countries that we want to visit. And from our listeners, you might want to sponsor a ticket or two for Kael and Gail. We would be really grateful if you do. So those are the few questions that we have prepared today, and I hope they were helpful for you guys to get a glimpse of of ourselves. I hope you can relate to what we have said.
So basically, that's a glimpse of what the podcast would be. We're going to get a lot of people involved, and we're going to grill them with questions like these, and maybe more intriguing and controversial. If you have any questions or suggestions, or any rants or topic prompts that you want to talk about or want to forward to us, you can send us a DM. It's You can reach us at our Instagram or our Facebook. Mine is at Daily Gaily. That's DAILYGAELLEY. And yours
And
is
my Instagram account is Sinsagan. That's SIN_SAGAN. And you can also follow me on Facebook and send your requests, your questions, and whatnots on directly on my messenger. And
okay.
before we end the show, guys, we would like to read some of the comments that we received on our first post on Facebook. We have Judy Solis. He said, "I'm excited to watch." Oh, thank you so much. I hope you're gonna support our next episodes.
And we have books with beers under the sun from Bobak. We can definitely write that into our episode.
Yeah, that
Bakit
sounds
hindi?
interesting, right? And also,
Yeah.
one of our students before from Davao Doctors College, he said,
Really?
Chris John Jedden, he said post graduation depression, sir. Oh, that's a very interesting topic. I really want to talk about
Mm,
this. Maybe we can invite some of their,
relate.
one of the students that we had before for this episode.
Of course, definitely. Yes, super interesting. We also have somebody said invite me naman for fishing tips from Nico Fernandez. Maybe we can do that. Diba? There's
Yeah.
a lot of topic prompts
Hmm.
already. So keep
Exactly.
them coming.
You can see how diverse this podcast is
Mhm.
gonna be based on the comments. And
Anything under the sun.
exactly. And once again, guys, thank you so much for the love and support that you have shared with us. So basically, that's it for the first episode of Gaelle and Gail Try to Podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for your love and support. We really appreciate it.
Keep an eye out for our next episode. We will be posting it on our social media challenge. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.